What's up, guys? Welcome to Bro Beats. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Afrobeat. So let's just get started. All right, now my BPM is going to be 105. Anything from like 95 to 110 should be good, but I'm sure there's other BPMs you can use, but I'm just using 105. And I do have my swing set to 23%. I just put it there. You can kind of mess with it, but something around 25% should be good. And there is a free kit you can download in the description right now. It just has all these drums in it, just some percussion for you. But yeah, let's just get started. And I'm gonna grab a scale, and we can do C major because it's all the white keys and it'll be easy to kind of follow. Just close that. So first thing I'm gonna do is start with these drums. Now, one tip that you can do that will kind of spice up your drums a bit is on some of them, you can click on them and then go to this wrench, this miscellaneous tab. What you can do is go to echo delay, and you can turn this up, but I wouldn't go any higher than 8%. So let's do about, yeah, and it's gonna make it sound like there's more going on, but it's really not. So let's kind of get a rhythm. So with this style, the drums are very important. The percussion is very important. So let's kind of stick to that, and I'm gonna pull this back. So we want something like this. Right, so let's layer it a bit. So we want a rhythm something like this. You see how that delay kind of makes it seem like it's a lot going on, but it's not. It's two drums playing. Okay, so let's keep going. And pretty much actually just copy this all the way. Move this in a bit. All right, so now let's add a kick, and I have 2 kicks just to layer them. You don't need this, but if you do want to follow along, download that kit and you can, follow along that way. But add a kick there, just obvious spots. Okay, so now let's add this snare, this little snare here, so we can. All right, and this is all about just rhythm, having rhythm pretty much. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the shakers. Okay, so now we're doing the shaker. So let's just go in here. So we're just gonna mess with this a little bit. So if we go in here, a good way that I found to do the shaker is you put it on step, okay? And then you place one wherever you want. And then you see this velocity. What you would do is place one right after. So you have 4 spots, place it in the second one, just to put it in simpler terms. And then on the second, and let me zoom in because this is probably too small. And on the second note, okay, pull it down about halfway, and we can actually pull these all up a bit. And then just copy it over just like that. And it should give you a nice shaker vibe. So here we go. All right, and it sounds a little bit more realistic now. So what we're gonna do is copy this and just take these tips here, and why is this not copying? There we go. So we copy it to the second shaker, okay? All right, so now this last shaker is just kind of like a placement. So we can just kind of place this anywhere that you see fit. So if you want to do something like this, or if you want to kind of mess around, you can. But I think I'm gonna just make it simple and just put it somewhere like this. So listen to the whole thing so far. All right, sounds pretty good. So now let's move on to like the percussions and stuff. All right. Okay, so with the percussion, all we're gonna do is just fill in the spaces. So if you just look at these 4 spots from the shaker 3, you look down. I'll try to edit like a line on there, but in between is probably where you want to fill in those spaces. And then you can obviously put things on the grid right here. So like right here, I'll put some there. So to fill it in, you can kind of put something here. And then since we have a different pattern going on, like a thirds type of thing, we can put things in places we wouldn't normally do. So put something there or something like that, right? So let's layer this, and I'm gonna just continue doing this part. Just kind of copy this part over here. All right, so now I'm just gonna move on to the melody. All right, so starting with the melody, now I'm gonna go through the sounds real quick. So, and the sounds that you want are like bells, mallets, guitars, and maybe a keyboard, or like piano, and I don't know, a bass, sub bass instead of an 808 maybe. And then how you make this sub is just pull all the knobs down. So pretty much just those basic sounds, and try to make them sound, try to get the most realistic sounds you can. All right, and then I'm gonna explain something real quick, because we don't want to make simple chords. All right, we want to like a nice chord progression that's dynamic, different, you know. So for example, if I came in here and did this, you know, most people just do stuff like this, right? You know, something like that. Or they probably add an extra. That's fine, but like for this, you want to do something a little bit more dynamic. So we can use like the top note, control down, and we can invert it. And then, you know, you would usually just do something like this, just take the bottom note. But you can actually do other things, like take the middle note and use it as the lowest note. All right, you get a slightly different sound. So I'm gonna be doing stuff like that. So let's just get started with this. So I'm gonna just start here and then invert this. Okay, and then we can use the middle note just to kind of show. Let's pull this down. Let's show everything. Trying to keep everything visible. All right. And let's start with this one. And the reason I put this here is to give it like that thirds bounce, because it's pretty much just like if you were to have a hi-hat and do the thirds, that's kind of the pattern I'm doing. And it will match the drums as well, since we kind of did that pattern earlier. So all right, so I like that. So this is pretty much what it looks like. I know it's really small to see, but I mean, we got a lot of different frequencies in here, so kind of got to show them all. So I'm gonna copy this all the way. All right, and now we're just gonna move on to doing the rest of the melodies and everything. All right, so now for the rest of these melodies and everything, we're gonna copy, paste, and then we're gonna take out some of this bass because it's gonna be too low. We don't want those clashing too much. So I'll play it. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I'll mute this one so we can hear this. And same thing, I'm gonna just copy this over and I'll pull it up an octave. Just kind of separate the frequencies a bit. And what I'm gonna do is really, we don't need to work. Yeah, we don't need to work on this stuff. Let's just focus on a small portion and then build upon that. So let's work on this. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just move things around so that it creates a lot more bounce in the beat. So move one note or something. And then with this, I'm gonna just move this over and then pull this up. Okay, I like that. And then we can just have one note here, maybe just to make it a little bit more interesting. And what can we do here? Let's see. Okay, so I like that. It sounds good to me. So I'm gonna pull these over, and then this is gonna repeat, and then we can come over here and just do some variation. So we just add like an extra note or something. Let's see. All right, and let's just copy that over. So that wasn't too bad. Just kind of manipulating the melody we already have or the chord progression we have. So I'll just play this real quick. Okay, so now let's do these. All right, let's go in here, and we could just, this right here is kind of like, it's extra, but it does add to it. So it's gonna be kind of like a solo, I guess, but not really. Just kind of play whatever note sounds good. So I'm gonna just kind of just go up and down, stuff like this. It should look something like that. You can kind of do whatever melody or pattern that you want. So let's actually mute these. And some of these, with these VSTs, they have like their own scales sometimes, so some of the notes might sound a little bit off, but it'll blend in later. I just noticed that with some of these contact VSTs that they have, they have their own scales, and kind of, I don't know, just weird. All right, so I think that's good enough. So now let's go on to this guitar, and with this guitar, I think this is enough so far. So what I'm gonna do on this one is we're just gonna kind of make some atmosphere, just kind of like strum it, I guess. So we can start on C, the root, and just kind of play along. Let's see, do one chord. turn it down. And let's see, go to A maybe. And we don't want to overdo it, so let's just stretch it out, you know, give it some time to reset. All right, so now let's move on to the bass. All right, so now we're gonna do the bass. This one's pretty easy. Let's see. We don't have to start it here. We can actually start on this part so it comes in late. And it kind of, I don't know, just something a little bit more interesting. You don't always have to start everything here. So let's just start on the root note. Just pick some frequencies that are good. So one thing that I noticed is the bass doesn't play all the way like this. It just like, it plays kind of like a kick. It just kind of taps in. So this might, let me zoom in for you. Okay. Then we can copy this over here and then pull that down. So I think that should be a nice little melody there. So let's pull it down twice. Okay. That might be a little too low, so let's try it up, but I do like it lower though. Nah, I like it lower. Let's try the G real quick. Can't really tell what note it is, but we can hear the bass a lot more than whatever note that was. I think it was a E. So let's just keep the G there. So that's going to be the bass. So now we're just going to move on to like the preview and everything. All right, so all I did was just kind of layer this out real quick so you can hear it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just add like an intro piece to the drums here. All right, just something with some low energy so it has a feel of like a drop when this part comes in. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. All right, so we're done with that. And it's just gonna give it a sense of a drop. And you can see here, I kind of put a space there. All right, so we're gonna do the same here. And just something that's like unique to the style. So here is the preview. Right, and then with all these sounds you can kind of create different parts by taking out some stuff and putting some stuff in. But that's gonna be it for this video. That's how you make an Afro beat. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you are new, and I'll see you in the next